Hey, what's up team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology. Today's video is on the Enneagram Type 2 in this kind of re-envisioning, I guess, of how it could be a kingdom in a fantasy setting, in an RPG setting, as we like to do here at Geek Psychology. So to get started, last week we talked about the Type 1, kind of this utopian, massive society. It's very like perfectionistic and very clean and everything like that. But this one's a little different, as you would expect. We're moving into the kind of heart, the image territory here. And Type 2s, I'm envisioning this as more of a village, kind of an open village. No walls or anything like that to keep people out and to protect yourself. But first, let's start with the people. So the people are, if you know anything about Enneagram, this should kind of ring true. It should remind you of some things. But very warm-hearted, giving, caring people, empathetic people. Very quick to build rapport because they're always trying to look to help other people to kind of fulfill their needs. This sounds very similar to extroverted feeling in a lot of ways, but there are some differences within it. So just in this style, think of your MBTI type as your character group or your specific character, and then these Enneagram spots as different territories that you go to. And so, like I said, they're caring, giving, nurturing, all these other things. And because they do that, because they spend so much time focusing on what they can do to help other people and to fulfill those needs, a lot of times they do kind of sacrifice their own needs. They don't necessarily think to how they can protect their own self when they're always trying to give to other people. And I'll get more into the RPG side of this in a second, but I want to kind of explain the people, the society within there first. And there's also kind of this little nosiness, I guess, within this kingdom of two, because they're intrigued by what other people are doing and what they want and how they can kind of help within that, but it's kind of a curiosity type aspect as well. Kind of just, well, what are you doing? What's going on right now? And how can I help that? How can I put myself in there to kind of support you? And I'm thinking of this kingdom, this city, I guess, as having this epicenter, this big giant pit in the middle. It's a man-made pit, and I'll talk about it in a second. But going from that, like from that epicenter, are all the other houses and stores and everything else. So it kind of expands outward. And there's a little road that goes down to 3 and a little road that goes up to 1, but there are more like wider, well-traversed roads that go to 4 and 8. And that's kind of dealing with regression and stress and all this other stuff, and also growth. So you have all these roads, you have the city kind of coming out, expanding from the epicenter like it was built around that. And what that is a place to put goods and foods and all these other products that they're making. These people in the kingdom of two, which I'm going to call it that because I don't have another name for it, but I kind of like it. They're very good at producing things. They're like bakers and tailors, cooks, designers, kind of a lot of times even planners for events and stuff, which we'll get into in a second. Entertainers, I don't know if I said that or not, but there's a a production kind of thing within them, and it's not because they just want to produce, but it's something that the other person can use. That's why it's a lot of times foodstuffs and goods, clothes, things like that. And so all of these products that they make, the excess, go into the pit, into the heart of the city. And sometimes even it's not just excess, it's like, I could eat that, I'm pretty hungry, but we'll put this within the pit, we'll put it in the heart. And the reason that they're doing this is because there are regularly scheduled events that the city hosts, and people from all the other kingdoms come, and they have this massive celebration, this ball or banquet or whatever you want to call it, just this huge feast. And this is when they take out everything that they've been storing up, and they're giving it to their guests. They're entertaining the guests, they're taking care of them, they're making them have the best possible time that they can, and just stuffing them, right? Giving them everything that they can. And then the people are happy, they like the twos, they feel that they kind of need the twos because this is such a great event, and they're getting all these, goods and clothes and food and all this other good stuff, entertainment. And then they go back to their town, their city, their kingdom, wherever it is. And the twos are left with an empty pit in the center of them that has essentially been filled up with the self-worth, I guess, given back to them from the other people. Kind of this, you're needed, we like you, you're a great person, and all this other stuff. So that's kind of filled the heart, filled the center, in exchange for all the foods and services that they've given. And I like to think of this as kind of an unknown curse within the kingdom of two. Like, they don't know that they're being driven to give all this stuff with like a sense of self-worth being exchanged, kind of this prostitution of services for gratitude and for being needed. But I think there's this curse underlying the town, and it's not necessarily seen like that. A lot of time, the twos within the Enneagram and within this town, I think, are very happy to give. They want to give, but there's a sense of anger when it's not like reciprocated, or when it's not like appreciated. So they're giving. If it's not appreciated, they're kind of like, well, what the fuck? Maybe I shouldn't swear. I don't know. I don't know if this is a family show or not. But they're like, well, I just gave you so much. I did so much for you, and you don't appreciate it? What's going on? Why don't you appreciate that? And then there's this need to do more, to try to get that sense of self-worth from them, kind of like siphoning it out with a straw type thing. And I don't want this to sound bad. I think I say this in every video. I don't want this to sound bad, but this is just kind of that darker side of the twos that's kind of driving them to do what they do. And everybody has this darker aspect that's actually fueling the engine. So there's this curse. I'm trying to think, what else was I going to talk about? And yeah, okay. So they've given all they could from the heart. They've received their their love and appreciation from the townspeople, and then they're left with nothing. This kind of empty pit in the center, in the heart of the town. And they go right back to filling it up again, cooking, creating, producing, doing anything they can to fill that void and be ready to give it back, like right away. Like when the next event comes, we're ready to entertain and support and be needed by all these other people. There's this desire within the two to want to be at the top in a lot of ways, but it's not always explicit. Like they want to be needed. They want to be the one that people come to for help. They want to help maybe the weaker person or whoever is around them that they care for as well. Sometimes it's right up in front, like you need me. Sometimes it's kind of behind, and it's this power behind the throne type thing. And other times it's a seduction, like walk into a room and just instantly find the power source, the most important person, and kind of adjust and kind of adapt your style to fit what that person wants. So there are a lot of different variants within that, and this goes into the 3 different instinctual variants. That's a difficult word to say. I don't know why. Let's see, what else? I picture the kingdom as run by a king and a queen. And they both, I think, are about the same power, but I want to say in this envisioning that the queen has a little bit more power. But they're close. And people in the town are trying to impress them. They're trying to live up to what the queen wants or what the king wants, depending on usually their own sex. So the male inhabitants, the straight male inhabitants, are trying to be mommy's boy. They're trying to do what they can to serve the queen and kind of get noticed and get recognition and get love from the queen. And the female inhabitants are doing the same for the king. They're trying to be, daddy's little girl and take care of the king and support his reputation as well through these feasts and through producing these lavish events and extravagant gear and stuff like that. The threat to the town is the possibility of running out. Like the town is not this huge utopian society like I was talking about with ones. It's not pristine and massive and just the best built town possible. It's just kind of a village. They have standard old-timey houses and stuff like that. It's not anything super amazing. What is amazing is their energy, their giving to everybody else, and their kind of reputation within that, and their pride about that as well. So there's this threat of running out. They're producing, eventually they're just not going to have much more to give because they haven't been focused on their own town, their own town's people, their own needs. So if they run out, then they're probably gonna have to go to war. They're gonna get angry. They're gonna start fighting to reclaim something that they need to. And they don't want to do that, right? They've spent their whole lives in this environment of we produce, we're happy to help other people, we are empathetic, we want to, build this strong relationship with people. And if their needs aren't met, they have to go outward to get them, and it's not necessarily the best thing. That's not what they want anyway. So I think the hero's quest, if you're a 2, if this is your kind of hometown or where you're coming back to for comfort, is to help the town build on its foundations, build on itself, and be okay without having these massive parties. Sure, it's good to have these events, but your quest would be to make sure that the town itself is secure and is producing enough for its inhabitants. And it's caring enough for the people in the town and the structure, the foundation, the buildings, all these other things. And then, when it's done that, when it's taken care of itself, sure, invite all these other countries and kings and queens and people to come in and celebrate with them and be happy, right? And not want anything from them, not want that self-worth and need to come back, right? Just to be like, I love you. You're a great person. We're helping each other out. That's great. You know, I'll do what I can for you because I want to. And it's actually your own will that's doing it, and not kind of this undertone of, well, am I needed? Am I necessary? Do they love me? You know? So that's kind of my idea for the hero's quest within that. This video might have been a little ranty. Sorry if it was. I'm still kind of working on the style of producing these. But I'm having fun with it. I hope that it's been entertaining for you. And I hope that maybe it gave you some new ideas, some new ways of thinking about type 2s, or your type if you are a type 2, or just Enneagram and personality type in general. I don't know. I hope it helped in some way. And if it did, please share it. Please pass the love along, and good luck, have fun. Thank you very much for watching. The next video will probably be on the type 3. No promises yet though, as this is a new style, something I'm working on. So thank you again very much for watching. Good luck, have fun. Peace.